I'm John, and tonight I want answers about gun control. And I want to hear some flute music. There's no stopping us now because we're live. Woo! Check your calendar.
Where'd the flute music come from?
Over there.
Oh.
Check your calendar. If it says January 10th, 2013, then we're live. Unless you're east of the Mississippi, then it's January 11th for you. And if it says January 9th, you have traveled through time. It's 2013. Are you still writing 2012 in your checks?
Yes.
They spell checks.
Wisconsin is east of the Mississippi, but it's only 11:13 there.
Ah, so what's the secret? The Appalachians? Is that
the time zone?
I know, but where does the time zone start? The Appalachians?
No.
Our flute guest tonight is Joe Engel. He was the otter on a previous show.
What?
Now, you were having a stroke on that episode.
I was. I thought there was a huge otter.
You couldn't see
and I didn't want to
otter.
mention it because I assumed I was crazy.
Joe was the otter, but tonight he's playing flutes. Or, I guess, flute. He's playing flute many times.
He's playing the flute.
He's
playing a flute.
Okay. My guest tonight is also Keith Stattenfield. He's the host of Keith Explains, also on this network, this channel.
This channel. It's not a network.
In the internet.
It's barely a channel.
He's my guest because he's a news junkie, history buff, philosophy major, and a solid contributor.
Yes. That's what they told me at my last review.
Now, we got some feedback. Last month, I did a poor job. We had Dr. L. Matthew Scala on the show.
We did. I watched that show. It was good.
He's a radiologist, oncologist, radiation oncologist.
Yes.
Now,
he might be radioactive by now, for all we know.
My fault, my problem, I didn't call him doctor enough.
You didn't.
At some point, I said, "Hey, Matt," and apparently that's a very terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the show before,
You probably haven't.
It's like a courtroom drama. I'm the prosecutor. My guest is the expert witness. You at home and in the audience are the jury, and it's your job to convict or acquit the topics. We'll be taking your tweets. So during the show, tweet us at JohnWantsAnswer. There's no S on the end because the S is for suck.
I thought it because it didn't fit.
And it didn't fit. And so we will read out your tweets halfway through the show, and we'll discuss them.
If you change your name to John without the H, the S would fit.
But that's not my name. But I'm in a Twitter
Changing your
contest.
name's not hard. You just got to go to a courthouse. It takes like 25 minutes.
Yeah, Disco knows all about that, right? You know a guy whose name was Vince?
And now it's Disco.
By mistake, he changed it to Disco?
Yeah, don't go to the courthouse drunk, kids.
If you tweet me and say you want a promotional photo, I will send you one of these, autographed.
Will it be
With
that
your
exact
name
one?
on it. It'll say your name, and then I'll send a personal message, followed by, I'll sign my name. The control room
Yes,
is now named the Don Yeager Control Room.
it is.
And
Wow.
it features the Don Yeager Ethernet drop.
Wow. Man, they're naming everything these days.
Now, I named the Ethernet drop, I named it the Don Yeager. Now, the control room was named by the station.
You have that power? Can I just name
Yes.
stuff around here?
I think so. The coffee maker. The Keith Stattenfield coffee maker.
That would be great.
I bring this up because 2 months ago, we talked about Don Yeager.
We did.
And so I was the first to honor him, I think, on the station. And after I did a tribute to him, then they named the control room
That's
the
probably,
Don Yeager
that's probably why they did it.
Control Room.
It probably had nothing to do with anything else. Because this show has huge viewership.
Yeah, exactly. Although in my show, I was talking about sticking it to him.
Well,
Where they were talking about
luckily no one
honoring
watches
him.
this show.
We also have a Jan Healy green room.
We do.
So I'm wondering where it's going to take after do you have to pass first? We have to pass maybe. And then they'll name something here
That's
after
not
us.
going to be enough for either of us.
The John Vink
Cash. For us,
prop
it's cash.
room.
If you were to donate, I'm going to say conservatively $287,000, they would name...
That's how much it is, 287?
I made that number up, but I think for 287 they'll name something after
I don't
you.
think Don Yeager.
No, but he was
contributed.
beloved.
He's.
Whereas you would just be that guy that gave us $287,000.
I just caused problems. Go to our website, johnwantsanswers.com, and from there you can see all of our past episodes and pictures and trivia and stuff.
Yeah, the forums are fabulous there.
We have no forums there. But you can like us on Facebook and then talk amongst yourselves on the Facebook page.
Really?
Yeah. You can like post things to me and
Got
I'll.
a Facebook account then.
You're on the Facebook. I tag you all the time.
Yeah, you do.
This show could not be made possible. Did I say it right?
It could
This
be
show
made
cannot be
possible. It would just
made
cost you more money.
possible without the continued generous contributions of our executive producers, Lisa Tamaki and Brianne Westphal.
Have you ever checked the pronunciation of that second one? We talked about that like 2 months ago. You were going to check into it or have like
Well, I keep
an
changing it
assistant or
because I
something?
think people keep telling me different things. I get new information.
But what do they keep telling you? Do they keep
keep
telling
saying
you
I'm
you're
saying
getting it wrong?
They say
and
I'm
so
getting it
you
wrong,
think something else?
and so I look into it and say, how
Perhaps
else can I?
when
say
someone
this?
tells you that you're getting it wrong, you should ask them, well, what would be correct?
I don't trust people. People are always steering me
People
wrong.
lie to you. People
lie to me a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, someone said about this show, I can't believe I'm watching this.
They can't. I don't believe anyone is watching it either.
Okay, so we're up to our first topic, gun control. Woo!
I've just been assaulted.
With a gun?
Yeah.
Wow, this is a good time to talk about gun control. My first question, is now an okay time to talk about gun control?
Yes, it is.
Even
Especially on this television
Even though a
station.
shooting just happened
Several
seconds
weeks
ago. Well, you just got shot seconds ago.
I did. Good Lord, maybe now isn't the right time. Do you have a backup topic?
Beyond that, okay, so whenever shootings happen, so Newtown shootings
They happen all the time, let's say.
And people said after the shooting, now is not the time.
Now is not the time.
When,
Generally, people who don't want to talk about it say that.
Right. How much time must pass before we can talk about gun control?
I'm going to say 14 hours.
Okay. So it's bad to talk about it.
No, it's fine to talk about it.
As it's happening?
It's actually fine to talk about it most of the time.
At any time. And so people who think it's bad to talk about are those...
They just don't want it talked about.
Those are the kind of people who want to keep gun control unchanged, I guess. So by not talking about it, we're not changing anything.
Correct.
Not moving on. Okay. So there's an amendment to the Constitution.
Of the United States of America.
Yes. That says I can have a gun. Right? Which one is it?
The Second Amendment.
So I have the
Bill of Rights
right here in my hand.
It's not the original.
As far as you know.
No, because I bought the original when I was in Washington, D.C.
I went to the
like 20 years
archives
ago.
and got it
I
myself.
was there, and they told me I was buying the original.
Now, the first two articles of the Bill of Rights were not ratified.
Correct.
So they are fake. So
well, they're still the first.
Yeah.
They're still the first two.
So when I talk about the Second Amendment, I'm actually going to read the fourth.
But it is actually the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Okay. But it's listed as the fourth on the document. Okay. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of the free state, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, so that's exactly
that's
how it
exactly
says.
how
The
they pronounced
extent
it
of
back then too.
Yeah, I was using my long old-timey accent.
Cool. It sounded so classy.
Now people seem to debate on the militia part.
Well,
So some people say guns for all, that's what it says in the Constitution, and some people say, well, it's talking about militias, so guns for all is not what they intended. What do you say about that?
yes.
Yes, what?
Probably both. At the time, I don't think they thought semi-automatic and fully automatic weapons would ever exist.
Right, it's fair to
And
say.
so they were thinking of what they at the time thought of as guns, which would have been single load muzzles.
So this was
or
written when?
muskets.
1789. 1789 is when
Yeah.
they probably didn't think of
Yeah.
bazookas and stuff, right? They had bayonets then, right? That the weapon of
They
choice?
weren't terribly common, but
Yeah.
they had them. They were more of a World War I kind of thing.
Oh, so they didn't have bayonets yet then.
Well, they had them. They just weren't terribly
They have
common.
Muskets with the
And
thing.
you had
in the-
swords. You could carry a sword with you.
Okay. Let's say I want to get a gun.
Okay.
Who sells guns?
Gun dealers and Walmart.
And Big Five Sporting Goods.
Yes.
I was there trying to buy a ball pump, and on the back wall, well, not even the back wall, the side wall, they had all those
Sidewall.
rifles.
Yeah. Rifles.
So I can just walk into any store and buy one there on the spot.
Yes, although probably in California there are waiting periods before you're allowed to pick it up.
Is this California?
During which they'll
there's a
well,
waiting period?
different states have different
Okay.
waiting periods, and some states I think don't have much of a waiting period. And
So the waiting is just purely waiting?
In theory, they're doing a background check on you to make sure you're allowed to possess a weapon.
Who's not allowed to have a weapon?
Most states, convicted felons are not allowed to have weapons.
Any felon, or just a felon who?
I think it depends on the state. Some states, after you have completed your sentence, you can petition to be allowed to have a firearm again.
So if I'm
Some
pirating,
states it's automatic after you complete your sentence. Perhaps if you do some paperwork. Some states, once you've been convicted of a felony, you can never possess a weapon again.
So if I pirate CDs, which is
It'd be convicted.
non-violent and convicted, a felon,
Then
And then I
you
can't
would,
have a
in
gun.
theory, lose your ability to have a weapon.
what else do I lose? I lose my ability to vote. Is that true?
It depends on the state, but yes.
So don't
And,
become a felon.
and if you steal music, you lose the ability to ever play music again.
Yes. Yes. So then I have to register my gun as well. Is that true? There's a registration thing, or is that part of the waiting period? Is that all the same?
Don't believe most places require you to register your gun at all.
Oh, on Law and Order, they all say, "How is that gun registered? You have a gun registered? Where is it?"
Many places require you to have a permit if you're going to carry it around.
Permit. Okay.
I don't think we have any national registry of all the guns that exist. I don't think you're required to register the fact that you have a weapon.
I think we have a lawyer in the house. Does he have any information on this? Jim? Do you know if what we're saying is right?
Well, he thinks all of it's wrong. So just move on. Just
Okay.
move on. He shot me, for God's sake. That man is an
He's the one
unconvicted
who
felon
shot
at
you?
this point.
Oh man.
See,
Oh,
he just shot me again.
I don't think he's the one shooting you. I think you're a bad eyewitness.
Good Lord.
Okay.
I'm going to say the one that looks like a terrorist just shot me.
Do you have a gun?
I do not. I have a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Everyone's got Nerf guns.
Everyone's got Nerf guns, for God's sake.
So foreigners all
Actually,
seem...
that's not quite true. Back in my home in Wisconsin, I believe I have a BB gun.
Oh. Which is like a toy gun. You'll poke someone's eye out with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put someone's eye out, but yes.
So foreigners seem to think that all Americans have guns.
They're wrong. There's at least one.
But I don't even know one person who has a gun. Do you know
probably
people?
not true. You probably know one or two
Well,
who have a gun.
It's probably true people I know have guns, but I don't know of anyone who does have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's broadcasting to me they have a gun.
With good, generally it's a good idea. but,
You don't broadcast
go
to
on.
people, you have your gun.
Even so, right, I mean, I think there are more guns in America than there are people, but
Must be
the median person doesn't own a gun,
okay.
right? It's some people own 10 guns, and some people own 30 guns, and lots of people own no guns.
When I lived in Canada, I think I had friends who had hunting rifles, which I guess counts as guns.
Certainly,
But they were purely using
especially
it
if you're a deer.
to get deer. They weren't using it to defend themselves or
Well, it's Canada. I mean,
or
who's going to invade
heist
Canada?
heist a 7-Eleven.
I guess we invaded Canada, but we all agreed it was a bad idea in
You-
retrospect, and we laughed.
The Americans attempted to invade Canada.
Well, we got smart and decided what do we want
At the
in Canada.
border when we shot. Anyways, we're getting off topic here. How can I carry my gun? So I've got a gun,
Yes.
and the Second Amendment says I can have it. I take it, I load it up, and I'm walking down the streets of San Jose with a loaded gun, waving it around. Is that okay?
Generally, no.
So what's the problem here?
Well, the waving it around, I think, is not allowed.
Okay. If I had pointed
I
toward the
don't-
ground,
Well,
even in a holster.
I don't know the particular details about San Jose,
Mhm.
and it would depend on what kind of gun you had, because I think handguns are treated differently than rifles, for example. But I suspect that in lots of California, merely having any gun loaded in public without a concealed carry permit of some kind, which is issued by the county, that you would be under strong suspicion and very likely violating the law. Look, did someone correct us?
We got a tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to read that during the tweet section. So the Second Amendment says I can have a gun.
I'm with you, man. The
so why
clear
can't
and
I
plain
walk
reading
down?
says shall not be infringed, but it also says arms, so that would apply to tanks.
Yeah, see, there's all sorts of holes in the Second Amendment.
Yeah. And the First Amendment talks about free speech shall not be infringed. But
Wasn't
I've gotten
there-
in so much trouble for yelling fire in crowded theaters.
Wasn't there a deal in this area a few years ago about these people who were trying to make a political statement, I think, and just bring in their guns to Starbucks and to Pete's Coffee and Tea and that kind of thing? And then
I don't know
put a
about this
sign.
area, right? Arizona and some states have open carry, which means as long as you have a weapon and it's clearly visible, you don't need a permit to carry it.
That's why
you
I was
can't
talking
get
about the
in
waving
trouble.
around thing. If you wave around, it's clearly
I
it's in the
think
open.
waving it around moves past the clearly visible into the probably a nut. And I think waving a gun around looking like a nut in public, that's just reason for someone to shoot you.
Yeah,
just on
yeah.
the grounds that, Darwin needs someone to help him.
Okay. We have to stop for a break now. When we come back, we're going to hear some flute music, and we're going to take the tweets. We got at least one tweet.
You got one tweet?
Yeah. So stay right there.
Or don't. What if they use a
Okay.
restroom?
Now's the time they can. Well, see, we don't want to remind them to leave.
That's true.
From the TV.
That's true. Yeah,
We don't
because
put the
they won't
idea in
come
their
back.
head. Yeah, they won't come back.
They won't come back.
In California, up until last year, you
Yes.
could carry your weapon, you could carry a handgun out in the open as long as it was unloaded. But that law got repealed last year.
So now you can't carry it as long as it's unloaded?
Or it has to be loaded now.
You cannot carry. No, but up until last year, you could carry your handgun out in the open as long as it was unloaded.
Okay, but when you're standing in public waving an unloaded gun around,
Yeah.
how do the police know it's unloaded?
They don't care. No, mine was the one.
They ask questions later.
Yeah, I just think it's a bad idea, whether you're allowed to do it or not. The waving around part.
So is that a registered Nerf gun, Harpreet?
I don't believe we have to register these.
Now, unless we look like a terrorist,
It's registered
in
with
which
the
case
studio.
perhaps we should take some special precautions.
It was registered with the studio, and they said so long as it only shoot Keith.
All right, we're coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we're back. And now we're going to hear some amazing flute music, I'm assuming, from Joe Engel. What are you going to play for us tonight, Joe?
I think I'll start with a tune called Hatikva, which is from Israel. It means the hope.
The hope. We need
Yeah,
hope.
hope.
Okay, let's hear something. That's cool.
I'm full of hope.
You're full of hope now? So I understand you make those flutes yourself.
Some of them. I made this one, yes.
You made that one.
Yeah.
So is that a certain name for that kind of flute?
This particular kind that is, it's derived from a Native American Eastern Plains style flute. there are a couple different variations on this. They've been kind of standardized over time to a pentatonic minor scale. Many of the ones I have are similar. Some of them are different tunings.
When I was growing up, I remember flutes went sideways.
Yeah, that's like it's a typical like European silver flute. It's a transverse flute, which is played across the hole. I have some like that. I don't think I brought any. Like I have a Irish cane flute that I almost brought. That's a transverse flute like that.
How many flutes do you make in a year?
It takes me about a month or so to make one. So
What do you do with all your flutes?
usually give them away to friends and family. I keep some of them. I've amassed a bit too many. This isn't all of them over there.
Oh.
Wonder if buyaflute.com is taken.
He should look into that. Okay, we're going to take your tweets. So we have, as you heard, 2 tweets. The Flirty Girl says, I really like your new iPad stand. It's way cooler than your old cardboard holder.
It is.
Yes. So I got this for Christmas. It's a frame shift Darwin machine. I think.
Who'd you get it from?
I think it was from Insanely Great Products.
Okay.
I didn't get it. It was a gift, but I think that's where it came from.
Yeah. Who gave it to you?
My wife gave it to me.
Wow.
I got it from my new iPad.
Does she know about this flirty girl thing?
Because, so I got a new iPad because we got letters, from last episode saying your iPad is way too old. It's first generation.
Yeah.
And so I got a new iPad and I had it engraved. And you see what the first line there says?
Yeah, it says engraver error
Engraver
FFA9.
error FFA9, and then my email address.
Yeah.
So I think there's a problem, something.
Yeah, you should get it replaced, man.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. So that's the iPad stand. Flirty Girl also says, the open carry you're thinking of was in Walnut Creek. Say in Walnut Creek, people just brought guns to places.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Pete's Coffee at Santana Row in San Jose, there's a sign on the door saying, we don't want you and your guns in here.
Yeah.
So get out.
Well, that's because you get hopped up on coffee, and suddenly shooting people seems like a good idea.
Yeah. Wasn't it like a cartoon character or Yosemite Sam or something?
Yeah.
That was all shooting
It wasn't
in the
coffee
air?
he was hopped up on.
No.
No.
Okay. So you have more to talk about on gun control.
Yeah.
I have some more questions here. Why would a citizen like you or me need an assault weapon, an assault rifle?
Squirrels. I got like 3 squirrels in my backyard, but they're fiendish. And if they ever get together with the other squirrels, they could be a little squirrel army. And if I have to be pumping and reloading, I'm never gonna overcome the squirrel army.
So there's arguments for people who want some gun control. There's some people who don't want to repeal the Second Amendment, but they do say we shouldn't have like a free-for-all, like have people have tanks at home.
Wow,
and bazookas.
like rational people?
Yeah. And so the question is, they want to get rid of assault weapons, which we did have a law against assault weapons, right?
We did, for 10 years.
Passed by Bush, the Republican,
Signed
right?
by Bush.
And the Republicans...
No, it wasn't signed by Bush.
It wasn't?
No, because it expired during his first term.
I thought it expired. No,
So
it
it
expired
was
during
10 years
Obama's
earlier.
term, wasn't it? Didn't it expire during Obama's term?
No.
Okay. So it was signed, what, by Clinton, I guess? Is that what you're saying?
I believe so.
The peanut
might have
fact-
even been the first Bush, but it wasn't
Someone
the
is
second
saying
Bush.
thumbs up.
It
So
wasn't
it's-
the second Bush, I know that.
Okay. So then it just expired.
Yeah, sunsetted.
Why do we make laws that just expire?
Well,
To
most
see if
of
they're
them
good
don't, but this one, as a compromise to get it to pass, they added
Yeah.
a 10-year sunset clause.
Yeah. So that seems like a good idea. Like, I don't see why a person needs an assault weapon beyond blowing up a bunch of people.
Kindergartners, that kind of thing.
I didn't want to focus on them.
Well,
Could
they're...
be people watching a movie.
I don't know if you've spent a lot of time in a kindergarten, but after 6 or 7 hours, they start to get to you.
But the guy who was doing the shooting wasn't being got to. He wasn't there for a few hours.
we don't
He
know
walks
that.
in and, yeah, we know that.
Maybe he spent too much time at Starbucks when a kindergarten class visited.
Now, there's a ban on magazines in some counties. Now, magazine
Large
is
magazine.
a thing that holds all the bullets,
Not
right?
sure if it's legal, but yeah.
Like Washington, D.C., I remember has one because some guy on the news showed one, and he got in trouble because he was in Washington, D.C., where they're illegal.
Luke Russert.
Is he like the son of another Russert?
No, he's not Luke Russert. No, yeah, he's just, no, someone else
Okay.
Bill Press,
All
the
right.
guy on Meet the Press, whoever he is.
Was there a big uproar when the ban on assault weapons was passed? Was there
A
uproar?
bit of an uproar.
I don't recall that uproar. So it's
Well,
like,
you were in Canada
was
at
I
the
in
time.
Canada? What year was this? Because I was here for Clinton.
I think it was like 92.
I was not here for that.
94.
I was also not here. Did you see Alex Jones on Piers Morgan?
I saw clips of it.
Yes. So
I've
I
seen
went-
other clips of Alex Jones.
He sounds a little crazy.
He's too much coffee.
He's, as far as
Way
you know,
too much coffee.
is he always like that? As far as you know,
He's not always like that,
So in the clips you,
but he's often like that.
okay, because he's on 100 stations, and you and me are on just this station. That means we're not crazy enough, or how do
Well,
we get on more
speak
stations?
for yourself.
Well, oh, you're on 2 stations, right?
Yeah, I'm on 2
You're
stations.
on 2 stations. Far from 100 though.
And the internets.
But remember, guns don't kill people. Crazy people kill people. So that means Alex Jones is going to kill people.
I took several logic classes. I don't think that quite follows.
Okay, we have to hurry up and go to Keith and John. Get it on. Okay, we need help with the bailiff. Bailiff Harpreet, you're going to be the judge of Spock something. Okay, we're going to do
Rock, paper, scissors, Spock, lizard.
rock, paper, scissors, Spock, lizard. Do we have the graphic? Show the graphic. We have the rules here. So this is the triangle of death. No, the pentagon of death. Pentagon of death. In the rock, paper, scissors, Spock,
Rochambeau,
lizard.
really. I mean, there's
game.
no death involved, is there?
So we're going to have Harpreet keep score, and we're going to do how many rounds we have time for, which is not very many because we're running out of time.
I'm gonna need a key.
A key? Look, yes,
Come here.
we have a key right here.
Look, I'll
right
tell
here.
you whether we win or not.
I'm right here. Okay, now I can't do the Spock symbol. The Spock symbol is like this, and I can't do it. So if I do this, we all agree that this.
No,
is
we
Spock.
don't all agree this at all. that's like rock, paper, scissors, shark or something.
No, because this is scissors,
Yeah?
okay, and
Spock.
this is lizard.
Spock.
This will be my
Spock.
Spock. This will be my Spock. Paper, rock.
I
Okay.
think Keith and John. Hey, wait. Here's a new Keith and John. Quick, do the Spock symbol. Spock. 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 I win.
Okay. Ready? One, two, three.
I win.
Rock is rock.
Rock, beats, scissors.
Okay. 1-0. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
No, paper disproves Spock. I don't believe it, but okay.
Ah, so we're tied.
1 and 1.
Okay.
3.
This is my lizard.
Lizard. Okay. Lizard.
What do you have? Rock.
Rock crushes
Crushes lizard.
lizard.
Uh-oh,
Ha ha!
uh-oh, uh-oh.
Keith
Okay.
for the win.
This is my Spock.
Paper disproves Spock.
That's not paper.
That is paper.
got a
It's
slot.
horizontal.
No, you've got a
Spock
slot
is
in there.
vertical.
We're both
It's horizontal.
Why do you have a slot in there? That's 2 Spocks.
It's paper.
Okay, how do you judge, bailiff?
That's for me. 3 to 1. You ready? Go.
All right.
Ha! Scissors cover
Okay,
paper.
okay.
4 to 1.
Are we out of time? Are we totally out of time? Yes. All right. Our next show is February 14th, our most romantic show ever.
What?
So tune in for that. And more from Joe, the flautist. You gotta do-